Gonna wait to see if anyone pops back in. If I'm going. Well, anyway, I should probably just get started. Okay, well, that was embarrassing. I really should have checked my internet to see if it was okay to stream, but so maybe this just won't work out, but we'll see. I'm gonna give it a minute, then start it again. Right. I can't remember what else. Oh, it gives you a little hint on here as well. That's neat. No, I like that. I like that. Guess that's why they get the first enemies in the game, are those little mosquitoes. It's a good way to teach you, yeah, use that laser. It's gonna come in handy. I like that when bosses do that. I think that's a good foresight, really. Anyway, I'm gonna get back into it. Maybe more people will join again. We'll see. This is the coffin phase I was on about. And I don't really know, that's the one kind of like flaw I guess with the design, is that I don't know where it really fits into the boss fight. It's a big, easily to avoid laser. And it's not something you solve with the homing laser, it's not something you use any of the kit you've been taught to use to get past it. It's just kind of there, and it's there for it to just like be invincible and do a big move. As you can see, it's not particularly difficult to dodge. And there we go.
This frame, don't you?
Maybe.
Even if you're far off, that's too rough.
It sure is.
Oh, this voice acting.
You think I'll tell?
It's little slow-mo shots like that that made me look into something, actually. And I'm just going to talk over this, because who gives a shit. But,
I'll try to
upon like some further research, I've noticed a lot of similarities that made me look into it. That in the cutscenes and the way things are shot, the way slow-mo is used, and the way it films it shoots certain actions and frames certain bits. And I made sure to look into this because I mean I didn't realize cutscenes without seeing that there's one guy that does all the cutscenes. And so there's a consistent style to them. And so looking into this, I found out that the same guy that does Zone of the Enders Second Runner also did Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, which definitely made a lot more sense in hindsight because of all these. There's a lot of little shots and a little cuts and the way some stuff is shot that definitely resembles the way a lot of the action is shot in Metal Gear cutscenes. And I think it's something that works with a lot of the more graceful moments in cutscenes, especially the slow-mo. Okay. But yeah, anyhow, enough of that. We've just gotten ourselves a new enemy type. That are kind of they're all right. They have a little shield. Prompts you to use unblockable attacks a little bit more, which is a nice way to train you into that. Because I don't think it doesn't tell you, because unless you do the actual tutorial, it doesn't show you how to do blocking and all this, and unblockable attacks and whatnot. But it's a nice little reminder that hey, you can do this. Might be worth it. Ah.
Be quiet.
Yeah, shut up, Ada. Does this go through the shield? Yeah, it does. Okay, that's good to know. Okay.
Enemies have been cleared.
This inside bit here especially looks very Metal Gear. Very inside of Arsenal Gear from MGS2. It's little touches that, you know, you can really see familiarities.
You can grab objects which may be useful in
And this is like our first, the first part where the game sits down, looks you in the eyes, and tells you, you can do this thing, you should do it. I mean, apart from the other training mode, but... Oh, here we go, we get an little extension. Okay, now I know how to do all this, but what does combo smash mean?
I will explain about combo smash. In a close-range battle, you can perform a combo smash with a normal blade attack.
What is a
Press the
combo
square
smash?
button 3 times.
Oh, it's just a combo. Cool, neat. That's nice to know.
Ending training.
Right, back to the action.
Destroy the cellar generating enemies.
Here we get our little... Go on, we'll make use of this. Here's a little thing that I didn't know you could do. Another detail, you could charge up any items that you grab, including enemies, by doing a burst. Let's get rid of these buggers. Right, so here we're going to get our second boss fight. Well, in a minute actually. Oh, we have to do mummy heads. Didn't they came in this soon? Mummy heads are a returning enemy type from the first game. They're shielded and they heal themselves. And in the first game they were I found them to be kind of notorious and infamous for just generally being a pain in the ass, for interrupting combos and having all these silly gimmicky weapons that would just attack you from off screen. But let's deal with him first.
Enemy destroyed. Confirm destruction of cellar.
There we go.
Reactor
Cool.
destroyed.
I love that little effect on the floor, and I love how it leaves little traces behind you. Something I always that fascinated me to a silly degree. Oh, what's this? Mission file. Oh, they're collectibles, aren't they? Should probably know this, shouldn't I? But no, just one of the things that little fascinated me, and I was surprised to find out was something they emphasised during bits of the development. Was like, yeah, we want to make sure that skating along the ground feels really cool and it feels satisfying. And it's such a little thing. It's just, if you touch the ground and move, you emanate spark. Emblematic of just all the little details they like to add.
I didn't want to involve my friends.
It's got that polish that Konami games around this era really did have. I'd like to say it's because of Kojima, but I can't guarantee. But I mean, he does produce most of the games that have these kind of little flares. And in fact, I feel like he's the one responsible for things like the control scheme, considering how much it resembles Metal Gear's. Even if it's just in a kind of triangle to go up, X to go down. That's something that makes sense when you look at it. Maybe not to some people when you play, but I think it's quite well thought out. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get another boss fight. Well, I don't think we can win, but with a returning character from the first game, kind of. And this one's a bit more, I find a bit more fun at least, than our Jets fight, simply by virtue of Nephthys being really cool. It's a fun little redesign and reoccurrence of a previous designer, because Nephthys is piloted by something like an AI based on the main bad guy from the first game, which I think is kind of neat. But it means we get to fight a similar looking mech. It's one of those, hey, remember the first game kind of things? Does she... No, we have to throw things at her. I remember now. Let's grab her. Damn it. Okay. Okay, so she's got 2 little phases where she'll run away, and then one will up, one where she comes in close. I'm gonna charge this up, and maybe not get hit. We can't do too much damage because I'm pretty sure this is one that ends prematurely. But having that, you would usually not too big on fights that force you to lose. But I think it's a... Oh, come on. Maybe I shouldn't put this on hard. Oh no, oh no. I'm gonna lose in the tutorial. Am I getting close? No. There we go, okay. This is one of 2 fights, including the next one, that we're not technically going to win. And normally it's not something I'm too fond of, but I think it's kind of here to drum home a theme throughout the game of
Is that you?
starting weak, getting stronger.
She's AI.
But yeah, so this is where it explains what's going on with the whole AI thing. God knows why they decided to bring this woman back. She was crazy, but
So, what
hey,
happened
you
to
remember the
Viola?
first game?
The applicable frame runner is already dead.
She
I feel like
died?
it's a nice little holdover considering how much this game kind of soft reboots itself. It also gives some kind of Dingo himself some kind of connection to the first game because he at least knew who Viola was.
And stole an orbital frame which was under development.
Was she involved with that?
And here we go, it explains what happens in the first game.
Orbital frame Anubis. Jehuti was their target too, but they didn't get this frame.
Jehuti was collected by someone who had much to fear from Bahram before it was abandoned on Callisto.
That is about right.
A little Metal Gear holdover. We get to move the camera around.
That was the commander of Bahram, Colonel Noman.
Noman.
Colonel Newman, the Scream guy.
Resonance reaction.
Resonance?
It is Anubis.
I love that. I love the little touch of the kind of main leitmotif playing now. It's something that was again, I'm going to use this word again, holdover from the first one. Because at the end of the first, you fight Anubis, you lose, and then have to flee. And his kind of his leitmotif, his kind of theme, I guess, is this audio bit of the lady singing in which is reversed from Japanese, I think. And here we get to see Anubis in action for the first time, which is very cool because he's fucking awesome. I'd like to say I prefer him to Jehuti, but every time I see one of them, I go, oh, this one's the coolest. Then I see the other and I go, no, this one's the coolest. But they're 2 really nice complementary designs, I think. Anubis was one that Shinkawa came up with, I think it was in high school. And I'm going to assume, considering it's always been called Anubis, that it's the basis for the whole Egyptian theme. Well, I just thought that was a neat little detail. It's something he's had in his head for years and years, and finally got to put into practice with the first game. But it wasn't even the main. It didn't even show it till the end of the first game, which I found odd. Okay, so here's our second can't win boss fight. I'm going to see how well I do. Oh, no, 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 no! Fuck off! I'll try getting close a bit. Nope, 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 nope! Oh, I'm trying to catch that on the environment. But I'm not going to win this, I'm not going to do well. He's going to grab me at some point. There we go, yeah, he grabs it and then that's basically where it ends.
Damn, it's too tough.
I feel like some people would think it's a bit of a cheap shot to just have a boss that is going to kill you no matter what. But, as I said earlier, I feel like it's a nice way to tie into kind of meta theme the game's got of not like a story theme, but of the player throughout the course of the game, be it through power-ups, through through getting new moves and new abilities, the way the player gradually gets stronger and stronger. And this is just one way to run home at the start that you're weak at this point, but you'll come back, and it makes later fights with them a lot more satisfying. And here we get royally fucked up. That musical sting is quite nice. A touch from the main theme. Can I zoom? Oh, I can do the Metal Gear zoom.
I'm surprised you're still alive, Dingo.
Long time no see, Noman.
How have you been?
I've been on vacation.
You get off and come to my room.
And there's that bit from the intro. I think I was reading some interviews. I think Ken's was the first character design that was kind of devised for the game. I feel like
What are you doing on this ship anyway?
and you can tell there's obvious like callbacks to the way characters in the first game were designed.
I didn't kill them.
Like she's Barham, so naturally she's got a similar but not technically the same color scheme to Viola. She's more rounded, whereas Viola's got like pointy shapes on her face. She's got like a kind of made up of triangles, if you want to look at it in a kind of geometric way. Whereas Ken's rounder, like her hair, it's especially just to kind of emphasize that she's a more of a friendly character. And it's just little things. I'm just pointing out I'm conjecturing on these little notes, but I just think, yeah, I find it kind of interesting.
He was the leading pilot in our unit 6 years ago.
Dingo, Egret.
And then I guess in a similar note, you got Noman, who's all angular,
You're doing
pure
rather
black and
menial
white,
work compared to the old days.
very creepy looking.
You've been demoted to the outskirts.
Shut up. You have come back under my command.
Come back! You must be kidding!
You'd better come back. It'll be fun from now on.
I refuse! Your fooling around almost killed me back there. It's not funny.
You don't understand.
You can't deceive me with beautiful words like freedom and independence anymore. Do you realize how many of my comrades died back there? Say it. You killed them!
Oh. I really have to wonder why they didn't include dual audio on this re-release. I'd like to actually hear the Japanese, just for the sake of difference, because this dub is so dodgy. I wonder if it'd make me appreciate the story a little bit better. But from where I stand, it's nothing too special. Touches on very vaguely Metal Gear-esque themes of like war, loyalty, etc., etc. But it doesn't do anything too special. These anime cutscenes, though, are quite nice. I think Gonzo did do a pretty good job. This one especially, I love the blood in Zero G. Does make me wonder why they're walking, if it's apparently in zero gravity. But it looks cool. It looks cool. So fuck it. No. I like Dingo's fluffy hood. I think he should have kept it. But yeah. Man, he's really fucked up there. Okay, now we get our title card. Oops.
I've never heard anything like this before. Are you sure this order is from Colonel Noman?
If not, why would I be doing such a thing?
I do have to wonder though. I'm noticing the quality in these anime cutscenes hasn't really been upscaled. It doesn't. They look a little bit. Yeah. I think they're still at like 360p. Makes me wonder. Like the rest of the game looks fine. It's held up. I mean, they up it to like what, potentially 4K, but these little cutscenes they still leave us looking a little bit dodgy. I'm wondering whether or not they physically could have done it, or if they just got a little bit lazy. But you know, I don't blame them if not. But no, they've done a good job so far. It looks and feels fine. Definitely better than the PS3 and 360 ports, which suffer terrible frame rate bugs and would barely function at points without a patch. This kind of holds up. And I like that they add a bunch of other details like a model viewer and an extra control scheme and whatnot. I feel like whoever they are, Cygames, they've got a lot of passion for this and they know what they're doing. They did recently say, like, we'll see if that happens, but I don't think that's too bad of a shout. They seem to like the series enough. The CEO was the one who approached Konami about remastering it because he's such a big fan, and I thought that was kind of neat, especially because they've made a big-ish name for themselves. I mean, mostly making mobile games, but big mobile games. Stuff like Grand Blue Fantasy, which I know which apparently is quite big in Japan. I don't know. I don't pay attention to mobile gaming, but
You didn't, but you did lose your heart.
oh, here we go. We get to the main conceit of the story, which I think was pitched pretty early on. That the pilot of Jehuti would need to be in it in order to survive. I think initially it had a bit more of a addictive, like drug kind of slant to it, but I don't really get. I'm kind of glad they got rid of that because I don't see how it would fit in too much. Or guilt the player into enjoying piloting a mech by comparing it to drugs would be, I think, a questionable decision.
Sit down, it's too dangerous.
There you go, we get Dingo's got his new flight suit,
Do that again. Did you want to scare
which
me
I think was in his original
Stupid, I'm
concepts.
insane! How could you do this to me?
I had no choice. The cockpit is too small to put in all.
I know that I remember reading about the character designers and how much trouble they had working with one another. There was one who,
I don't remember.
the first guy who would
When did you say
draw
that?
something that was very like subdued and a bit more realistic looking, and then another guy that would cover it and be like, no, we've got to make it more anime.
Saved your life.
No, make him look like a Power Ranger.
Had you hidden from the other crew for
And then they both also had to work on trying to keep things in line with Shinkawa's art direction, with the mechs and whatnot, trying to make everything look congruent.
Don't be
Is that a word? I think it is.
How can I follow?
Don't know if I'm using it right, but try and make everything look cohesive and like it all works and functions with the same technology. I think they do an alright job.
I've been sent into
More so than the first game, where you've definitely got a big kind of dissonance between very anime-looking characters, awkwardly modelled in CG, and then the actual robots.
First, you have to escape from Deimos as soon as possible. You're in danger if we stay here wasting time talking.
It's hard for a dead man to understand.
You are still alive.
So what?
Noman is still alive too. Don't you want vengeance?
He really perks up at that.
Killed my
Well, I would like
I have
revenge.
the same aim as you, so I won't do anything bad to you.
Can I just ask you one question?
What?
Is it correct this year's winner was Hesperia Gale?
What?
I've just died, but all I care about is Spaceball.
Do you know the answer?
We've no time for games on Mars.
Okay, that was an awkward transition. Okay, right. Ah, this does look very crisp and clear. Okay, dash around a bit? Okay. Where am I going? Am I going through here? Yeah.
The catapult to eject ships is over there.
I'm going to go on. I think we're going to move on to like the first,
Satellite Deimos is under Bravo.
I guess interesting set piece, if you want to call it that.
Patrol to attack support units of the Space Force from Earth.
One of the attempts to kind of vary up the gameplay from combat, and it's interesting to put this so close to the start when the players are usually going to want to get into combat, but you know, I'll let it play out a bit and I'll stop blabbering about it because I think it's a neat little, it's a neat little thing to do.
Anyway, please consult Ada about the catapult.
Okay, so we're on a big Mars space station. We're going to get a catapult. Hey, here we go, the Cyclopses. I like these guys. Purely melee focused enemies. They hit hard. And there's 3 of them. 2 of them together. See if I can fit one of those in. Oh no. Oh, there's. Go for the weak one.
I could do this.
Cyclops destroyed. Enemy destroyed. Enemy reinforcements are confirmed.
Okay.
Enemy destroyed.
Got something coming from behind. Is that Cyclops? Yeah, it is. Oh, he's got a key.
May take longer. Let's fight in long distance to avoid damage. ETR
There's a little system here about keys. If you think you have to defeat a certain enemy, and they've got an objective item. I'm trying to remember, but I don't. I can't recall too well. Let's take this so I can block.
Raptor destroyed. Enemy destroyed.
There we go. Clear up these guys. Oh, hello. Yeah, see, he's got the key. I think it's just. I don't see why it's not something that it just rewards you with at the end.
ETR reactions on.
I don't know. I'm not gonna theorize too much on it. It's just a little element of the HUD. Okay. There's a map button. I swear that was something that was always in the corner. Maybe they just. I don't know. I don't recall it being an optional thing. Oh, here we go. Some more enemies. God knows what these are called. I can't remember. But they're big. They're just mosquitoes, basically. Exactly the same. Just a different coat of paint. Oh, we got some health. Grab that.
Metatron.
Ah! There we go. Okay, when are we gonna meet Taper? 'Cause we're gonna get into our oh no, we've got a few more combat bits. This is where the game where you get a bit more of a chance to get into the combat, but it does mean there's a lot of like samey looking corridors. It's mostly just a good chance for you to experiment and get a hang of it. Grab that mummy head.
Dash or keep your distance to avoid damage. Enemy destroyed. Raptor destroyed.
Okay, before I die, I'm gonna better make sure I take out the cellar. I'm having a bit of trouble locking onto it though. Oh, there we go.
Damage level exceeding 75%.
Oh.
Obtain
Okay, cool.
Raptor destroyed.
No, I kind of. It's giving me a lot more health than I expected. Okay.
Enemy destroyed.
Okay. My notes a little bit. Oh yeah, no. One thing that's definitely becoming obvious now that I look at it, or now that we're seeing all these little explosions, the environment blowing up, and some of the laser attacks the enemies have, there's a lot more colour than there was in the first game. And it's something that I think the previous HD collection kind of fucked up a lot of the particle effects. But they look really nice with the HD now, and I quite like that. But I was looking into some of the research. I was researching some of the influences, like the way what the director and visual people were looking at when they were trying to come up with a new look for the series and make it and like go for a more cel-shaded look. There's a lot of like 80s and early 80s, early 90s anime that was quoted, like something called the Dagger of Kamui, Ghost in the Shell, because that was something that a lot of people would recognise a bit more than some of the more niche titles that Murata himself would quote to the art team. But and I think it combined, like there's a very definite difference between a lot of the kind of more muted colours of the mechs mixed with the really bright, colourful explosions and particle effects behind a lot of the attacks. Like it means while there's still a lot going on and it can be a little bit of a clusterfuck visually at points, there's still distinction between what you should be following, what you need to keep an eye on. Okay. Lock onto the cellar. Onto the... Oh, I just had it. Oh, get rid of this. So yeah, this is where we start getting a lot more enemy types in one room, and things can get a bit chaotic. But we've got things like the little radial circle around us to show what enemies are where. Let's keep an eye on what's going on. Lock-on, even though I was sucking it off earlier, it's turning out to be a bit more of a problem than expected. We've got to keep an eye on what it wants to lock on. The little... there we go. The little triangle that pops up just to show you what you're looking at, what you're going to be focusing on. Mummy heads.
Though it may take longer, let's fight in long distance to avoid damage. Mummy head destroyed.
And that little trick of charging up items that you grab, definitely very handy. It took me years to work out that was a little feature, but I always thought that was cool. It gives an actual purpose to the burst and the charge, aside from just using certain attacks. I think in multiplayer it even charges up your sub-weapon energy. I think it'd be neat to do that in the main game, but you know, I can get why they didn't. It would end up overpowering a little bit if you could just sit in the corner, charge up, and then not have to actually think about your sub-weapon energy. That would promote using it a bit more, maybe tactically sneaking in a few charges just to make sure you got some more energy to work with, but you know, maybe it's something they'd have put in the third one. I'm not going to theorise too much. Right, I want to get rid of the mummy first, because I hate them. Ah, you bastard. I'm going to get messed up.
Damage level exceeding 75%.
Oh boy! I gotta play safe.
TR reaction.
Oh no, I'm dead. Alright, didn't think that'd happen so soon.
Target confirmed.
Okay.
Start attack.
Right, to be fair, I do have a lot on my plate dealing with all these enemies.
TR reaction gone.
I'm gonna go and focus on. Focus on dealing with the.
Raptor destroyed.
I'm sick of them.
ETR reaction gone.
Focus on this.
Raptor destroyed.
That's where the mummy heads, big beam weapons, get very annoying. Oh, God, I really don't like them.
Mummy head destroyed. Mummy head destroyed.
Yeah, no, I think they're still fun. They are fun enemies to fight. There's something that varies things up, and that's what I quite like about some of the enemy designs. And there's ones like the Cyclops that are there to force you to use long range a bit more, and you have mummy heads which are there to provoke you to go in for more melee attacks. It's a nice way to push the player to vary things up a little bit more instead of just giving you standard dudes all the time. It gives you it pushes you and tries to give you an excuse to, well, I say gives you an excuse, pushes you to use more varied ways of fighting, because the combat is limited in terms of, like, you know, you can't, there's one combo you can do, realistically speaking, but it's a nice, with the ranged attacks mixed in as well and all the sub weapons that you pick up throughout the game, it's nice to get. And it's nice to have an opportunity to make use of everything you've got, and with all the variety you'll get in different combat encounters, it'll push you to use everything you've got pretty regularly. Okay, I'm gonna have a look around because there was those collectibles. I picked one up earlier. How high can I get? Is that high? Okay. Where did I come in? I'm gonna double back. Nope. All right. The camera's very tight as well, I've noticed him. It doesn't move, it's not quite tanky where you move, you turn slightly, and the camera follows you directly. It'll just snap straight. So you still feel free, enough to move around and turn however you want, but it does keep it consistently behind you. It does ground it somewhat. Where's it pushing me to go? This way? Okay, here we go.
I received a rescue signal.
Ignore it.
Connected.
I'm stuck with a cargo of
Yeah, this is where we're going to get introduced to the first little, like, mix-up that they'll try and do to kind of keep the gameplay a bit varied. And we're going to go and try and track down this guy who's hidden in a box. He's hidden in a big cargo container somewhere in this big kind of very kind of semi-generic facility.
What's wrong with you?
And he'll give us hints over the radio telling us, oh, we're in a blue container, we're in a, it's got a number 9 on it, etc. And that prompts us to, I don't know, look around a little bit more and do a bit of exploration. It's something that I think could have worked if the environments were a bit more interesting to travel around instead of the same, like, 5 or 6 rooms. But I think I respect any attempt to vary up the gameplay in a game like this. It keeps things interesting, keeps things fresh, and that's one thing I think the game does in spades. Here we go, we got our first hint at the Vector Cannon, which is going to be very important later on. So we're going to go and help find Taper and track what box he's in, and this might take me a little bit of a while because it's not that he doesn't give the best hints. Or maybe he does and I'm just stupid.
Don't move from where you are.
I'm hiding in a container. I start shaking after hearing the sound of gunfire.
Ada, where was that message sent from?
I can't find the particular point, but from all indications it seemed not too far away.
So we're going to have to go find this guy. He's hiding in a box. You have to shoot nearby it to see if it shakes.
Giving too much damage to the container will destroy
I think you can shoot nearby, but I think you might have to shoot the box, which complicates things. Yeah, you do have to. You have to get one shot off, and in my experience, it's resulted in constant attempts to retry it because I would have hit the button slightly too hard because of the PlayStation 2's like sensitive. Well, you know how it's different on PS4 because you can just hold down the button to do a strong attack, but it previously would work as in the more pressure you applied, the bigger of a blast you would do. And I would make the mistake of jabbing the button.
A container with a serial number including 6.
Okay.
To
Well, there's a
turn
6 there.
around, use the right stick. It's
Okay.
an empty box.
See, that's where it's going to be a little bit of a complication, because now all I can do is the little 3 rapid thing, which seems to destroy containers. And it's reset all of them, so I'm going to have to go leave the room and come back. Oh, missiles with it. Another addition that I found that impressed me a lot when I was a child, because I'm easily impressed, was how you could charge up the burst attack. Previously it would just remain a small little ball, and now you can charge it, and it was very satisfying. I mean, you're never really going to get a chance to charge it fully, but...
Oh my, I don't
I like that it tells you what was in the containers. But right. Yeah, I'm going to struggle with this. Because maybe there's a consistent way to not blow up the containers. Maybe I should just do the big one shot, but I'm just worried it's going to detonate it and I'm going to fail. I'll go back over here. Now, this section can be a bit tedious, but I don't know. I as I said, I respect any.
I think I'm in warehouse C now.
See, which one even is that? C. Okay, I'm here. Blue container with 6 on it. Fuck it. Yeah, there we go. We got him. All right, that didn't take too long. Nowhere near as long as I thought it would.
You must be taped.
But here we get our little comic relief coward side character.
Yes, I am.
And Dingo hiding his name for some reason. I can't remember.
I'm not Baram, though this is an orbital frame.
Stop! What's your assignment?
Hey, I'll leave you behind if you keep being so dismal.
What's your assignment?
As I said, I'm trying to help you.
Oh, all right. Please help me.
Dingo, ask him about his orders.
Shut up.
I
What
have to
puzzles
rescue
me though
people
is
in
that
Cilia
he
County
trembles when he
alone.
hears gunfire, but he's in a
Got
robot.
stuck after they got a weapon
He's in a big
defense
mech. Why does the
system
mech
to the enemy
tremble?
base.
That's the one you told me about a moment
It's almost
ago.
like they didn't think
Yes.
about this.
The
Ah,
vector cannon.
ah.
It's very important.
We
to us
fudged
to
some
win.
DLs.
That's why I have to rescue them.
You're kidding. How can you rescue them like this?
It's my duty.
Nonsense.
It's enough you take me as far as the shooter to Mars with you. I know where my comrades are when I get
Oops,
to
sorry.
Mars.
You're asking me to carry you to the shooter.
Exactly.
The shooter, I think, is
Let's
the
go.
space catapult that they've not explained yet,
We'll
unless
have
I just
guide
wasn't
us to
paying
the best
attention,
in Vasilia.
because I was
don't
probably
think he's that
talking over it.
useful.
Like them, we have to destroy Bahram's military fortress. That's why we need that weapon.
The military fortress?
The military fortress, Auman.
Arman, which is a completely gibberish phrase.
Oh, Henry G. I've got a program for an.
Ah, here we go. We get our first
but I don't
sub-weapon.
know anything about its contents, so you're welcome to use it.
Which one is it? I think it's... Is it Phalanx? No, I don't think we get that this early.
We obtained the device
Geyser,
from
Geyser,
the
that's it.
sub-weapon Geyser. It works against the enemy's power unit. It can restrict movement for a fixed time.
A sub-weapon?
It's like a
Sub-weapons
debuff,
support a
non-damaging
normal
thing.
attack with special effects. Use it with
I
the
can
large
test out
tank
now
weapon.
the new
Each time
control
you use
scheme,
the
which
sub-weapon,
separates the grab
sub-charge
and
goes
sub-weapon into
down.
2
Keep an
different
eye on
buttons.
how much is left.
Okay.
Check your current position on the map.
If I remember correctly, I'm gonna try something. I hit him with that, and then I can use Geyser to... No, I just... Oh, I thought it would heal him. Never mind. Later on in the game, I believe it heals, and you can use it on friendly units to help them out. But at the moment, I've just kind of frozen him and trapped him, so... How do I drop him?
What are you doing?
No! Oh, God. Okay.
Oh my! I don't want to hear this.
Gotta make sure Taper doesn't get killed because he'll get fucked up by these guys.
ETR reaction gone. Cyclops destroyed.
Okay. Bunch of missiles that just appeared for no reason. Right, where are we going? You'll see. You're gonna see what I mean when I say this whole facility is very samey. Like, look, it's just corridor, box. So we go through two more corridors, and then we're at the final one. You're gonna see me spamming the dash a lot. Can I just run through? Yep, I can. I'm just gonna do that. Oh, I can't. There we go. Oh, you leave him alone. Sorry, I think I just hit him with that, actually. Yeah, luckily it's not too bad of an escort mission. They don't tend to focus on Taper that much. He's got a life bar and he's not really... He doesn't really do much, but luckily he's not like an escort mission where it really gets in the way. You just gotta pick him up every now and again. I don't think it's too bad, but I think the placement of it might have been better off put somewhere else. Like a bit later in the game when you get more support abilities. I don't like... But, you know, the pace is picking up slowly, and we're getting more and more action. I don't think it's too bad. It's not like, oh god. But it's I think it's questionable to put it so early. I don't think anyone this early in the game wants to be tasked with protecting some loser like Taper. But, you know, we build up. There's a gradual ascension over the course of the game. Is there another Metatron around? Nope. Alright, well. Come on, Taper. Let's go. Can I charge him? Oh no. Yeah, I can. I can heal him. That's how I heal him. Interesting. Alright. Put you down. Shut up. Jesus. Is that a cellar over there? Yeah, it is. Oh shit. They're just gonna let me do this? Okay, I'll just... There's not much the Cyclops can do from far away, so they're just gonna have to slowly make their way over. There we go. Come on, Taper. Come on. Let's get moving. This goofy little robot. Yeah, we're going this way. I'll heal him. I'm glad there's a feature like that. I guess I was talking out my ass when saying this was badly placed because you don't have any support abilities. Cool. We're through that section. That's nothing too difficult, but it's a nice bit of variety. But you know, I do feel like it's not the exact pace we need at this point in the story, but you know, I can only whinge about it too much. It still functions well, still gives you some new enemy types. Lets you test out the combat a bit more, get you a sub-weapon. It's all neat enough, but could be a bit faster. But we'll start to see that as the game kicks up pace a little bit more.
Hey, what's Mars like now?
What do you want to know?
How's the military situation?
You should know. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I wanted some exposition, because we could sure as shit do with some. It's not that this game really goes to great lengths to paint what the world's like. The most world building we really get is all the good guys are called the Space Force, and then we're not going to meet them.
Quick, enemy approaching! Well, see you later!
Those smoke effects are quite nice. I like the shading on a lot of the, as I said before, on a lot of the particle effects and whatnot. I think they all look really nice, and add a bit of variety to the colour. As you can see, those Raptors are really, really bright red, even though their actual normal designs aren't that excitingly coloured. They're just like beige bad guy robots. They're just putties, really. Yeah, this is where this is what was confusing. This is something that I always mixed up with the key mechanic, is that there's a commander, and the commander powers up the squad. I'm going to steal him.
Enemy destroyed. ETR reaction gone.
All right.
All right.
Raptor
I'm
destroyed.
going to have to check the trophy, see if that's mentioned at all. I'd like that. If you get 100 different lines out of Dingo, maybe. No, there's a nice little chance to teach the commander thing, which does change the way some fights play out,
Raptor destroyed.
because they can get some insane buffs from the commander. They all get a lot stronger and play a lot more aggressive, but that gets toned down once you.
I suggest using a geyser.
Maybe I should just go straight through the middle of them.
Exceeding 75%. ETR reaction gone. Obtain
And the good thing is you get a health buff from every commander you kill. He says, ready to be wrong next time I kill a commander and don't get health. There we go, okay. Waiting on the cutscene. There we go. And we're going to be out of our first act. I think we've got a boss encounter coming up, I think. And an excuse for me to blab a little bit more about the first game and its connection to this one. Ugh. Ah yes. Nephthys comes back. We're going to end up fighting. I'm going to end up fighting her a lot throughout this game. At points it can get a little excessive, but I like the fact that we've got a persistent villain who's constantly chasing us. It's a trope I always really like in games. I like having reoccurring bosses. I especially like them when they're pursuing you. And I feel like it does do quite a lot for the pacing of the game, where it gives you a constant momentum, not just because you have to get somewhere and keep doing stuff and get to the next objective, but you've also got that force behind you pushing. And I mean, it's never like you're going to slow down too much in the game and get caught by Nephthys as she catches up, but it feels like there's a kind of a chase going on there. Like she's going to keep dogging you and keep harassing you throughout the game, which is what you want out of like a evil recurring character, I suppose. Yeah, that dust storm looked quite nice. The effects are holding up. I'm going to spend a lot of my time just like going, oh wow, yeah, this game still looks good. So yeah, props to Cygames. Although I did discover that only. Oh no, my internet might go down again. I'm gonna get off the Wi-Fi on my phone and pray to the gods.
As far as the eye can see.
So Mars is proper fucked up by a war. I don't feel like I can get too much into anything because I might just cut out any second now. But hopefully it goes through this Leo fight, because then I'll probably do that, maybe a section after, and then leave it at that. Total up to about 2 hours maybe of streaming. Don't want to stretch myself, you know.
Now, Balram's war potential is very strong, far different from when you were around. The Space Force put up a stubborn
This is the closest we get to any real world building and setting up like what the world is like outside of what's going on. These drawings are quite nice though. So we don't even get to see the full map. We know that Vasilia is a city on Mars, but that's like about it.
That was thoughtless.
I don't know.
We knew what was going to happen. The Space Force suffered.
Oh, there we go. Get a bit of foreshadowing to a boss we're going to fight. I don't remember these shots there, and I'm wondering if they were even in the original. Maybe they were redrawn or something.
Cannon taper mentioned.
The Vector Cannon is a weapon that delivers a high energy wave by space compression.
This is our objective,
The outer shield
I think,
of the
for
enemy
now.
Fortress Almon defends from invasion with a massive
But it's a big,
dislocation
important part of the
created
game.
by
It's
space
one of those things that
compression.
it's a little bit like the little tutorial where you control the lev. That's at first, for now, it's a goal, and then when we're going to get it, it's going to really enhance the feeling of growth throughout the game. But I'll get to that if we get that far.
However, the military unit has been missing in Vasilia since they acquired the Vector Cannon. Taper, who you met on Deimos, must have come to get it
We
back.
can move around.
Why is it so important?
Dingo, do you know about the Almon project?
I only recognize the name.
When Dr. Rikoa Hardiman was in good health,
Noman's father.
Here we're getting a lot of the exposition I was talking about earlier. A bit of setup as to what's actually going on.
he then made a
Stop thinking about
full-scale
nothing too
Almon
interesting.
is a huge military fortress that
The
uses a
plot
great
is
amount
much
of
more
medical
set up around
construct
a kind of
weapons
action
and
movie structure in this. Now, this is one of the
When
things
it
I was
is
reading
fully
about how
operational, it won't
it's
make
there to lend
sense
more
for
to the
Earth to
pacing as
send
opposed to
any
the
amount of
kind of
forces
slow
against it.
burning,
Almon will have
emotional
over 1 million
tragic story of the
tons
first
power
one, where
of
there's
Anubis,
much more
and
just
you've
like
seen
talking
the
about
damage
of the main character Leo and the AI Ada discussing emotions, what it means to be human, blah 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 blah, and that all feels very incongruous with the rest of the game, which is, you know, a high-speed mecha game. Well, the story in this isn't the most exciting. It's kind of just the bad guy has a thing. We need to stop the thing, but it lends itself a bit more to the feel of the game. It gives a kind of like action movie kind of pacing,
Noman has already got Anubis.
which is helped by the fact that the game's quite short, but it makes things feel a bit less dissonant between, you know, going between these sections where you have two characters crying, talking about their feelings and how much it sucks to get bombed, mixed in with, oh, I'm such a powerful robot in the gameplay. It's
That's
I
why
don't
you
know.
made me have such a terrible
It just feels like it gives you more excuses to flex
Mars terraforming
your
is still a
gameplay
long way
skills
from
with
perfect.
the kind of story
It's still
setup it
too
gets
weak
in
to
this
be a
one.
battlefield.
If that makes any sense, I kind of jumbled a few words there, but I think you probably get the gist of what I'm saying. It's something that I didn't realize was quite so ingrained in the game. Like there's a lot of thought put into how well to pace it, and I feel like it does a pretty good job. These sections slow it down a bit, but then there's never too many of them. I say that. Watch me in about an hour go, oh, I'm sick of these cutscenes.
Because of Noman, actually.
Is Almon in Vasilia?
Anubis and Noman are there too. Almon is already getting ready.
He must be happy.
Hey, we have to stop Almon and Noman. We have the same purpose, don't we? Our cooperation is not so bad after all, is it?
I know you'll cut off my life support if I refuse.
You have your duty to do.
I don't care about Earth or Mars. My aim is to get Noman. You're all just
I
the
think
same as
Dingo,
Barr, aren't you?
he's not like the
So
most
don't go
interesting
thinking you're
protagonist, but
champions
he's
of
one that
justice.
I think
Sorry to
does
interrupt your
represent
conversation.
the player a bit better than others, because I mean the plot, as
Hey,
Ken
I
is
have to
saying, is
go.
to
I'll disconnect.
stop Almon, but he's the one that's like, I want to beat Anubis, which is
Let's
what I
be
feel the
done
player's probably thinking around the start after they get beaten by Anubis. And here we get introduced to a fun mech, and a returning. Oh wait, I'm wrong. No, this is where we get the Naritas. They're cool looking enemies though. Okay, I was totally. We're gonna get a boss fight in a second, and I'll start blathering about him then. But for now,
Alright, next!
can't stay too still with these guys. They're very fast, much faster than raptors. They don't hit quite as hard as a Cyclops, but yeah, I can block what they're doing.
Narita destroyed.
Just throw you into the ground.
ETR reaction gone.
Listless.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we get little icons to say when something has energy. I didn't realize that. So I think that's interesting. Lets you pace yourself a bit more. So if I'm running low on health, I can attack the mummy head. For a contemporary comparison, the 2016 Doom might be a good shout. Like, go hit this or certain enemies to get health when you need it. I like that kind of encouragement. It pushes for more aggressive play, which I think is something to encourage in this game. I'm going to want to go get one of these mummy heads. Cool. So you can use them as guards. That's interesting. Sod off. Oh, he just destroys those projectiles. Okay. Oh, cool. I get a bit of it. Yeah, that makes sense. Those little flashes are one of the things I love about the combat. Especially in bosses. Okay. And more Naritas. Are we going to get them mixed in with other enemies? It's just 4. One more than last time. Maybe it's alternating ways. I don't know if we'll get one more after this, but nice to get one more chance to fight these guys. I don't seem to have too many unique gimmicks aside from being really fucking fast. I'm going to want to slow these guys down a bit.
Did you see that?
Obtained Metatron.
Okay, are we on the cutscene I thought we were on? Yeah, okay, I think we are. Here we get introduced to the protagonist from the first game, who used to be a small, incredibly whiny child. Is now he's now a man. He's got his own robot, his own mech. Which is one of the coolest. We'll see it in a second. I like that for an introduction, though. For any more like game literate than I am, there's an old Konami shoot 'em up called Gradius, and Vic Viper's design is actually just the ship from Gradius. Because Gradius is like a shmup game where you play as you're a little ship. And Vic Viper, this mech, swaps between a humanoid form and a form that's literally just the ship from Gradius. And there's a lot of I think that's kind of neat. It's an interesting way to tie in another series or another game with this. Have like an extended cameo, so to speak. Right, this will probably be a bit of a test because Vic Viper it's a fun fight, but it's kind of tough. I'm not going to be able to get in close until he does this. There we go. Damn it. Alright. This is where it's definitely a lot easier to use the up and down dashes, which are the little flips I'm doing. They're done by pressing the dash button in tandem with X or triangle to go up and down, and this is when they become quite handy because of how many homing attacks Vic Viper has. Ah, you got me. I really like I'm hearing the soundtrack quite heavily in this fight. It's where I first started to notice it initially, and well, apart from the opening and whatnot, but I think it's a lot of it bleeds into the background, but I think in a very natural way that really aids the tone, if that makes any sense. It's a good soundtrack, and it doesn't it's not too obtrusive to distract from everything, but it's enough to add this kind of odd alien tone to all the action. Because it's not your typical operatic, bombastic kind of tune. They're very alien and exotic sounding, and I like that a lot. I think it's something that definitely gives it a more unique feel than like its typical Gundam style music, which would be like, you know, your typical orchestral tunes. It just gives the series a bit more of an identity, I think, and just even if it's just a surface level thing. I don't know. It can definitely help in boss fights like this, which it sounds and feels good. There's little balls on the front right there. And those are his options, I think. They're extra little functions he's got. I think they function like guards. This form's quite fun. It's a different fight to what we've had. And he uses all his gimmicks. And I think that's fun. You can use most of them in the multiplayer when you play them as well, which I like. Ooh, he got me. Right. Okay. Just gonna do a little bombing run. Well, if I recently played just that move of him like disappearing from screen and coming back reminds me of the Meta Ridley fight in Metroid Prime, where he has a similar move, but it really distracts from the fight because he takes so long doing it. But that was like, Big Viper does it pretty quick, pretty smooth. I think it's easy. I don't know. It's just one of those little things that I've noticed where, you know, it's easy to have these interesting ideas for moves that I don't doubt someone thought, oh, it'd be cool if we got him to disappear from the screen and do a bombing run. But no one really thought about how to make it smooth. But obviously that's the big incentive with this game. It's having everything retain that level of like speed and precision and smoothness. Oh, I thought I could finish him with that, but there we go.
Wait, I'm not with Baram. What else can you say if you're not with Baram?
You must be Leo Stenbuck.
Leo's gotten older, but he's still got terrible voice acting.
Long time no see. You remember me?
Yes, the data is a perfect match with the previous runner.
We're getting a nice little
You haven't changed a bit.
reoccurrence of the old theme, the old musical theme. I think it's the credits theme from the first game that plays during a lot of the sappy moments. It's a nice little callback.
Insulting me, Elena.
Elena?
That's not your business. Anyway, get out of Jehuti.
You want me to leave Jehuti? Don't be silly. I can't leave even if it means I die.
How come?
That's not your business.
What do you plan to do with Jehuti?
I think it could be sold at a high price.
Are you going to Alman? Ada, please answer my question. You're going to Alman, aren't you?
So what if I am?
Do you know that Ada intends to self-destruct Jehuti on Alman?
Are you sure?
It is true.
Wait a second! What's going on? Whose order is that?
It's a command which arose from the basis of a program.
The basis of a program? Are you kidding me? Who would allow such a thing? Hey, Ada, I won't allow you to do that!
You're worried if it concerns you.
Well, it does!
This is the meaning of the existence.
Look at that gob. Fucking
Are you
hell.
stupid? How can you throw away your life for no
He's got a
reason?
huge mouth.
Alright.
See, I feel like this game touches
Need to
on.
blow up Jehuti. Isn't that right?
What?
There's the occasional talk. I mean, from this point,
Destroyed. you'll be alive.
Dingo's usually he's bargaining. He's like, don't blow yourself up because he doesn't want to die naturally. But I feel like it does enough. It's kind of paying lip service to the themes of the first one, but it's nice to have like little references to the runner giving Ada like talks on how to value your own life and whatnot, teaching her a bit of humanity. You still get to touch on that, which I feel like it's nice to not just completely ditch themes and ideas from the first game just because they're doing a soft reboot. I think is yeah.
If I fail, please carry out.
This is what happens when I try and talk about the story in any depth.
I don't want Ada to fight. I want to finish it.
Why?
For Ada's sake.
You're a funny guy.
Oh, please take this with you.
We obtained the device driver.
Look at that shiny thing.
Gauntlet. It stuns enemies to a distance by physical impact.
Gauntlet's a fun sub-weapon.
If
Should be able to get a
hit
bit
an
used
enemy
to
into
that.
the wall using the
That's
gauntlet,
unreal.
they will suffer double damage.
I see.
Dingo, you saw Anubis?
Yeah.
Please be careful with Anubis. Even though you are on Jehuti,
Don't worry. I'll bring your Jehuti back to you later in one piece.
Jehuti just doesn't sound like a word
you
by
are a
this
good
point.
fighter. I trust your skills.
Right, I'm gonna refer to some of my notes. What did we talk about? Whoa! Because we've got a basic combat gauntlet coming at the moment. We're gonna go through a few corridors and fight some enemies.
What's that?
It's the Bahram fleet. They defend from outside invasions.
Is Leo alright?
He hasn't been captured yet.
There's too much trouble in the sky.
For your own good, you better act with reserve like you're a stranger.
Anyhow, news will soon leak out.
But it is much better if no one finds out as late as possible. All right, I'll explain what you do next. You can enter Vasilia through the south gate, but first you need to unlock it. You have to destroy 2 facilities on both sides of the gate before you can go into Vasilia territory.
So, I'll need to destroy 2 facilities to unlock the gate, is that right?
That's it. Security in the territory has been much stricter since the space.
I did have a bunch of notes on
I will.
a lot
I'm
of the
leaving Deimos for Mars now.
mythological, well, the vague mythological references in this game. I'm trying to bring up some of the notes I had.
Really? Serves you right.
In fact, I'm going to double back on
Why can't you
find
be
those
more
notes. Find
cooperative?
I think I am.
it's like the thread I was looking at a while ago.
Trust rumors.
What?
Because it's kind of interesting, the stuff I hadn't really thought about. Because I didn't even I didn't know what a Jehuti was. Everyone knows what Anubis is, and but God knows what a Jehuti is.
Metatron is confirmed close by.
Alright, cool. You get some.
Go and collect it first.
But I think Anubis having the more recognisable name makes kind of sense, considering his design was come up with first, and that Yoji Shikawa was in like high school. He was just like, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to do that. But oh, another mission here. Scrap that. But yeah, so when I can find a moment, I'll try and get my notes back up about what a Jehuti is. Cool, now the gauntlet can start coming in handy. We're going to get a few like corridor sections, which gives us a good chance to test out this new weapon.
Narita destroyed.
Trying to knock him.
ETR reaction gone.
All right.
Well, we'll try and take advantage of this new weapon. We'll bait him over here.
Narita destroyed.
Come back again.
Enemy reinforcements confirmed.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Using gauntlet.
It's nice. It is kind of refreshing that. When I say refreshing, it's nice to see there's enough thought put into the way the game is structured to know that you're going to get you always, whenever you get a new weapon, you're going to get a little tutorial how to use it, what its advantages are, because a lot of them are fairly multi-purpose. Like as I was trying to assume earlier, Geyser has a couple different functions.
ETR reaction gone. Narita destroyed.
But I think I prefer that to the very on the nose. Here, have a training room segment from the start of the game, where you know you get where it just puts you into a very what's the word? A non-diegetic like menu, which is, you know, non. Now I have to sit here and try and explain the word diegetic in case none of you some of you don't know what it means. But like basically it out of the game universe, out of the game world. Anything in the game world is diegetic, out of the game world non-diegetic. So like a big menu pop-up that the character we're playing as doesn't see is non-diegetic. And I just feel like designing encounters around the weapons you've just gotten is more interesting than giving you a little tutorial, a non-diegetic tutorial. It's a nice way to make things fit in and not take you too much out of the experience. What am I about? Anyway.
Obtain Metatron.
Ah, okay, so that's how the new selection system works. Okay, so you can equip one onto each D-pad button, and you can like double tap or hold it down to get it to work. Okay.
The gate is locked. First, you need to destroy 2 facilities. Confirm the location of the facilities with the map.
This this kind of stuff does feel like obviously just inflating the game length, but it's nice to get an extended chance to test out on new stuff, explore a slightly different environment from just the bland space corridors we've been dealing with so far.
Raptor destroyed.
Where's that? Oh.
Enemy destroyed.
I'm going to test something actually. Can we grab something and then use no? I wanted to see if we could use grab something and then use our sub weapon, because there's something I'd definitely like to test that out with later on.
Raptor destroyed.
I'm trying to get the grip of using the right stick to swap
Come back again.
in combat a lot more often.
Tommy head destroyed. ETR reaction
There we go.
gone.
Stay away.
I still need to. I still don't fully understand the leveling system in this, or why it's even there. It feels like a kind of odd RPG-esque mechanic to get. But I mean, I can see its uses in letting the player feel like they're getting stronger, which, you know, as I've said multiple times, is kind of one of the themes of the game, I guess. But it doesn't really add anything other than like getting more health and I think getting more energy. So it doesn't really add too much, and it's not too prevalent. But I guess it's a nice little way to include a tangible way of determining how much the player has progressed, aside from like new weapons and new upgrades and stuff.
Tommy head destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Enemy destroyed. Raptor destroyed. Enemy destroyed.
There we go.
ETR
So we're just kind of walking through. They were just basic corridor sections, a little bit like we had beforehand. Right. See, I'm trying to refine my old notes. I say old notes. The pages I would use to reference all these little mythological connections that the game might have. And there's a pairing of Anubis and a god that has a similar name to Jehuti, but it's been, through translation to Japanese and then back to English, it's been kind of butchered. But it's symbolized by a blue ibis, which is a... ibis or iblis? Which is a bird, which is commonly used by Kojima and Konami to signify Jehuti. So it's more of a connection to that, because I also see at the same time people comparing, saying that Jehuti is another name for Thoth even, who's the god of knowledge and wisdom, or etc. And I think that might be the right one, but I get the feeling it's not. But there's a couple different ones. There's like Thoth and Horus, etc., that are all quoted as being being the basis for Jehuti. I'll have to do a bit more research. If I do another session of this, maybe I'll try and actually get some answers to that in detail. Something I failed to actually note down in this session, just for this session. I was more focused on a lot of the some of the gameplay details and talk about the pacing of the opening and whatnot. I was going to use that to throw. There we go. I'm going to have to look. Okay. Big generator. Do we just shoot it? Yeah, we just shoot it. Nothing too complicated.
You destroyed a lock. There is one more facility with a lock for the gate.
Hey. Oh, okay.
A commander type is identified.
There we go. We got the little commander thing earlier, as I noted, but now we actually get an explanation as to what it does. I mean, it would have been nicer to get them all at the same time, but
It is dangerous for you to let them form a party. Before they do so, I suggest destroying the commander type. I will point out the
I find that a little bit odd. I mean, I'm coming into this stream to kind of wank off one of my favourite games, but you know, I'm not afraid to admit there's a fair few things it does a bit wrong. It's a bit shonky on. Did I get all of them with that? Yeah, I did. Cool. I'm seeing just how useful charging up some of the melee weapons is. Because it's one of those little features that it doesn't really get directly explained to you, but it's nice to have, and it's nice to just have something that gives you a boost for, something that gives you a buff. I quite like that. I mean, it'd be neat to have that kind of implemented into traditional gameplay, to give you like maybe if you burst for a certain number of, or you press a button with it, it will give you an attack buff, but you know, I'm glad it's something to boost up and give more use to the environmental objects, because I hadn't really used them before, but now I'm kind of, now that I know I can power them up, they become a bit more useful.
Don't bother me.
Right. Yeah, we're back here. Okay, let's see what's down this way.
ETR reaction gone. Raptor destroyed.
What are those little things? Little stationary turrets, I think. So this is a fairly standard little corridor sequence. We just go through the same enemy types we normally do, get to the end. Oh, there's a lot of them. Is there a cellar? I can't tell. It's just... No, that's not what I wanted to lock onto. Lock-on's not as intuitive as I would really like it to be, but you know, still, I'm getting things done. I've not died again yet. That move, these beam weapons, are so frustrating. They completely knock you out of anything you're doing, and they can just sit there and fire them. They turn with almost as much speed as you can get around them, but and they really interrupt everything. I don't like mummy heads. But you know, they're one enemy in a series of quite a lot, so, and they're not even that bad. But it's just it's awful. Oh wow! Oh wow! I can't even go backwards. Ah, I see. That's what those things do. Oh my, oh my. More mummy heads. More mummy heads. We're getting a lot of them in this sequence, and I can see how it works because of the tightness of the corridors. It's a good push to make use of Gauntlet, because I'm getting a lot of usage out of it, as opposed to some of the more open areas.
Start the enemy attack with dash and attack at the same time. Raptor destroyed.
There we go.
ETR reaction gone.
Don't bother me.
Some mummy heads.
Enemy destroyed. Cyclops destroyed. Raptor destroyed.
I need to block more. It's something I've never been very good at in games, just blocking constantly. Making use of defensive options. I get too aggressive.
ETR reaction gone.
Ah, there's a cellar, that's why I'm getting so many enemies.
Mummy head destroyed. Raptor destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Enemy
There
destroyed.
we go. Alright, the other generator. Blow that up. And then I think we're par of course for another Nephthys boss fight.
All locks have been deactivated.
Well, not yet, of course. We've got to deal with.
With combo smash adds to the damage.
Let's just try the same tactic. Oh no, let's not.
Enemy body disconnected. Mummy head destroyed. Mummy head destroyed.
See, I said earlier we're never going to get a chance to use that big powered up version of the boost attack. But hey, would you look at that?
Raptor destroyed. Mummy head destroyed. Obtained Metatron.
See if there's any.
We obtained the device driver of the
Okay, this is the first
phalanx.
sub-weapon we don't get for doing like anything in particular. We're just going to get it off of a random enemy.
It depends on how
Like
far
previously we got one after a boss and we got one for rescuing Taper. But for now, for this one, Phalanx, we just get kind of for no reason. We beat some generic enemies and get a power up. I mean, they have a lot of them, and a lot of these ones are returning from the first game. Here we go. We get an opportunity to make use of Phalanx, which is minigun. One thing I like is that depending on how hard you hold down the trigger or the button, it fires in either a shot in a wide spread, as you can see it's very wide, or it fires in a short, a very focused one. And I'm just kind of wasting my energy here, but I just want to show off how this looks. One thing I noticed though, is it's got a different effect. They look like little black bullets surrounded in blue energy, as opposed to the white one, like the little, you know, Star Wars-y lightsaber bolts that they used to be.
Cyclops destroyed.
Oh, whoops, 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 whoops.
ETO interaction gone. Cyclops destroyed.
This new control scheme really helps swap between these weapons. I like this a lot. Fuck it, go ahead, Side Games. Make Xenoblade Endless 3. Do it.
Obtain Metatron.
Okay, now we get our next Nephthys fight.
Viola, you're already here. I found you. Get ready.
I'm reading now as well, because I'm doing this kind of a little bit of research on the side as well. Thoth is indeed the. I'm pretty sure Thoth is indeed the actual source for Jehuti.
You might be able to nullify the enemy shield.
So, an ordinary guard cannot be used.
If you have some sort of catalyst, you can improve Jehuti's abilities.
A catalyst?
Please search for something like a board as a guard.
Alright, I can guard from their slamming in as I grab that. Let's do it!
I didn't pay any attention to that.
Guard from their slamming in as you grab the surface of the perimeter wall.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's no chance you will survive.
Okay, alright. I should pay more attention to what they're saying, because I'd forgotten what the gimmick was for this fight. Because each time you fight Nephthys, you get a slightly different gimmick. Sometimes she's got this energy shield, other times it's a straight up normal fight. But mostly it's something to do with like using the environment and grabbing stuff. It's nothing too challenging, but it makes things a little bit more of a puzzle, which I think is kind of neat. It's something that I was looking into as well. The director, Shuyo Murata, I was looking at interviews with both him and Kojima around the time this game came out, and like they were explaining their different methodologies. And Kojima would say how he designs the game is giving the player as many options as possible, and focusing on making each of them feel just as good. Whereas Murata, he comes from what I think is evidently a more modern kind of standpoint, where each challenge and each obstacle you face is like a puzzle, where you've got one solution and you have to decide what that is. And that also falls in line with Kojima also mentions his Murata's fixation on restricting the player, which ties into the whole growing stronger arc that you get throughout the game, where you gradually get more and more power-ups and you feel stronger by the end of it, but it's the matter of like designing a complete character and then stripping it all away so that the player feels rewarded each time you get one of these new powers, and then you kind of get to savor it a bit more. See, now we get a second fight with Nephthys in a slightly different arena.
Please shake it off.
And we get a slight change to Nephthys' theme, which I really like. I'm trying to remember what the gimmick is for this one. We could just get charging the end into that. Yep, nothing too complicated. Come on. No, whoops. Come on. Whoops. But no, what was I saying? I was just talking about how Murata designed the boss fights stuff. But yeah, it usually falls true for every single one. Each boss, instead of being a traditional like, oh, memorize the boss's moveset kind of boss, it's usually a, what do I have to do to damage it? Like each boss usually has a certain weakness or something they're more susceptible to, and it's almost like a puzzle working out what you have to do. That's what Nephthys at least definitely falls into. I can't guarantee as much for the rest of them, but I just think that's a kind of neat way to approach it, and I found that interesting, hearing the two different, Kojima's perspective on it, especially because he talks a lot more about what he thought about the game and how worried he was during development because of the differences between his methodology and Murata's. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, it runs. I feel like it'd be very easy for these fights to turn into something like the worst example I can think of would be like the Bane fights from the Batman series, the Arkham games, where it's just get Bane to charge into a big wall and then punch him while he's down, which is extremely dull, I find. And it would be super easy for these to feel like that, but they're usually varied enough. Like, every single one varies it up enough. It's not like every single boss fight of this type is going to have the same solution, and I don't like that energy shield. Damn it. Oh, fuck. I got too carried away talking there. Gotta try and always fit in one of the burst attacks on that. There's enough damage to guarantee. Try and bait her into attacking me. Doing that. Come on. I like how she's got a little taunt she'll do every now and again. Come on. Now we go. Pull back, pull back. There we go. Okay, second time's jump. What I like in Nephthys' theme though is you can just about hear in the background, but Viola in the first game had a you hear that kind of pulsing noise that like woodum woodum. That was part of her theme in the original game. And in the different phases of Nephthys' theme on the soundtrack, it's used in different ways. Other times it's sped up to add a lot more pace to it. And in the later sections where it slows down, that we were heard a little bit during that fight, more so near the end, is it slowed down to mimic a heartbeat when she's wounded, and I assume in some of the later fights. I just think that's a really neat little detail. There's a fair bit of care put into the soundtrack, and I think, what's his name, Norihiko Hibino, I think it is, who does it, it does a really good job. I mean, a lot of it sounds very Metal Gear, surprisingly enough, because he's got a very distinctive sound. But there's also enough, like, enough of these like odd-sounding choirs and different instruments to make it sound quite varied and fit different characters.
Yeah, they seem to be stuck and confined in a facility by a cliff. I'm going to the point of origin of the dispatch now.
I'll be there soon.
Hey, by the way, what is your mission?
What's going on there?
I think I'm going to reach the 2-hour mark, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to reach the 2-hour mark, and I'm probably going to call it quits for now. But we got another 20 minutes. I wish I could see the comments, actually, because I can't actually... I mean, I don't think there are any, but... Don't be afraid to say something, guys.
Deploy! Quick!
All teams, move in formation
this is where we get a section that's quite reminiscent of the first game, I think. I think, at least. I can't guarantee it's exactly like it, because
Why didn't you say our pals? Don't you know them?
I've only got a vague feeling of what we're going to do next.
This is Storm Company.
What are you
But,
doing? Do you want to involve civilians?
we're about to get a little sequence where we can protect some of these buildings, and we have to ensure as little damage as possible. And that's something that was very prevalent in the first game. You would like go from area to area protecting civilians, and you'd get little rankings based on how well you would do in protecting them, which I thought was a bit odd. I mean, I like the idea that you get incentivized to save people, but getting ranked on how many people you saved dehumanized them a little bit. But you know, I can only whine so much about such petty ludonarrative dissonance, and it doesn't really matter that much. But I do think this is a cute little reference to that. That's all I'm trying to say.
You will employ the sub-weapon Geyser.
Sure, I can stop them moving with Geyser. Ada, you're good at your job for a battle AI.
My previous runner influenced me greatly.
That must be that Leo I met.
He always had respect for human life.
You're the type that behaves the way the man you love wants you to.
I do not comprehend.
You don't have to. It will all end when I dispose of Barom's unmanned machine. Anyway, let's go.
Certainly.
Dinger really like adopts the "I've got to save everyone" mentality pretty quickly.
Let's eliminate every enemy. I suggest using Geyser.
Oh, that's why did it lock onto that?
I'm on your side. What? I can't move at all.
I want to lock onto the enemies. There we go. No, what's it doing?
Damage to civilian facilities due to battle increasing. Be careful. Enemy
I'm not going to get a very good rank on saving civilians, am I? There's an enemy up there. Okay, one building's destroyed. Oh, we got some. No, don't hit them. Oh no, whoops. I probably shouldn't have done that. Oops. Okay, let's try not to kill too many innocent people this time. Woohoo! Hey, every casualty is just one less life to protect. Let's be focused more. God. Come on, there we go. Let's go. Let's try not to get too many people killed. He says using a spread weapon that's gonna rain bullets down on every innocent person. Oh no, not again! I heard the screaming and everything. Oh, I'm not a very good hero. I might even fail this section if I'm careless enough. Let's just avoid using that spread, the homing lasers. Where's those enemies? Are they there?
3 more. 2 more. 1 more.
There we go.
The enemies are destroyed.
Okay, we lost like 3 buildings, 50%. Oh, I'm not going to get very good rank on that.
I could have saved more of them.
Yeah, you really could have, Dingo. I think slinging that giant laser into a building full of women and children probably didn't help that rank too much.
But if it weren't for you, there would have been more destruction.
Are you trying to ease my mind?
I wonder whether buildings and civilians are different counters. I don't think they're two separate items.
A battle? Does the Space Force call massacring innocent civilians battle?
I don't care about Vasilia's people. They're nothing. It doesn't matter whether they're civilians or not. It's still the same.
Shut up! If you say anything more, I'm gonna kill you, you wretch.
What?
Go away.
See, the game presents the Space Force like they're kind of the rebels or something, like they're the good guys, but they are assholes. It feels weird to throw in such kind of
How has your search for the Lebs been
little
going?
twinges of grey morality in there when, you know, we're supposed to be rooting for these people.
They were ordered to, weren't they?
But it's impossible for Lebs to attack Baram.
Let them do as they like.
You're heartless, aren't you? If they're your ally.
Is the Space Force my ally? Don't kid me.
What?
Hey, I found a few Lev units in the civilian residential area near the South Gate. If you still think they're your team, you can pick them up.
All right.
I mean, there's points where Dingo sounds alright, and I don't mind his voice ultimately, but his delivery is so off at points. It makes me wonder how they, because when they dub anime,
Have you already met
which
Apeheads?
is like the most similar thing to these cutscenes, I guess, is they have to match the lip flaps, so the actor can't really speak as they would like to, because they have to match the exact motions of the mouth that are already pre-done for the Japanese voices. And I wonder if that's the same here, where a lot of the dialogue is awkward because they can't exactly redraw the cutscenes and resync the lip flaps to match what the English actors are saying. So a lot of the awkward delivery is because they have to match that and match the really fast pace of the way a lot of the dialogue would be vocalized in Japanese. Okay, we've got this train sequence coming up, which I think is quite fun. We'll probably do this, make it to like 2 hours total, and then I'll probably leave it at that. Maybe come back next week, I don't know.
Ada, where is the train going?
It is going via Ayers Cliff along the sea.
This is another little set piece that I think is quite fun to, and you know, drives home the forward progression of the game.
Destroy it before it gets there.
Is that right?
After all, it's just on the way. Ada, give me the estimated time of the train's arrival.
Roger.
There's Metatron down there.
Obtained Metatron.
I probably should hurry up, but I want to quickly look around and see if there's any extra missions anywhere. I'm not going to dawdle too much, I've only got 10 minutes, but we will have a look around, see if we can find anything. Doesn't look like there's much. Maybe it's hidden in the building. Maybe I should destroy the building. Maybe I should kill all the civilians so that I can get a collectible. Yeah, okay, I don't see anything. It's probably just tucked away in some obtuse corner. I'll find it if I go through it again, which I probably will, because I could play this game till the day I die, frankly. Every time the jets flare up, I expect it to go into the flight mode from the first game, where the cockpit literally swings up like it's getting erect. And I always found that hysterical. But unfortunately we don't get any close-up erect cockpits in this game. Don't want to use Comet. Fuck off. Oh, I get so cool. Stop it. Now we can keep going. Yeah, Comet. No, Gauntlet comes extremely handy here. I didn't even need to kill these guys. Probably should save some of my sub weapon energy, but yeah, fuck it. Fuck it, the machine gun's fun. Yeah, there we go. I sure as shit do with more sub weapon energy. I should probably stop getting hit by shit. I like the forward momentum of this, but it is hard to... You've got... These are a little annoying. It's still, as I said before, it gives the game variety, which is the best thing. I think it's the thing you want when you've got a simple enough action game that relies on a narrative. A little bit like this. I was going to make this comparison to Sunbird, but I'll talk about it now. In that I think this game is kind of, it follows a mold that modern games like that a lot of more narrative-heavy games like Uncharted would actually follow, because it anchors the action on a story that you're meant to follow and be interested in, but it usually tries to give you different set pieces and vary up the somewhat simple action to different degrees, and it uses those set pieces as an excuse to give you more variety, which is the kind of the main thing you'll be getting, because it's not like it changes up the core concepts of the gameplay that often. I mean, you only get a couple of things in the game that really definitively change how the game is played, you get Zero Shift later on, and a few of the sub-weapons. But for the most part, it's like you're following a set track. It's very linear, you've got set pieces, it's got an action movie kind of format. That's just kind of why I draw that comparison, and I feel like it's a close enough one to hold a bit, at least some water. Just gonna gauntlet everyone. Ha! Outsmarted. I can't remember. Does it pop up and we have to shoot a weak point, or do I just have to shoot it? Oh yeah, just shoot it. Cool. Nothing too complicated. We'll get that done. I'll probably touch on the point of set pieces resembling something like Uncharted later on, because there'll be more like direct comparisons, and there'll be more varied things we get up to. But it is something I do quite respect the game for doing. Instead of just offering you the same old combat sequences again and again, it changes things up, and I quite like that. It knows just how complex the combat is, and just instead tries to find different settings to slot it into, to keep things a bit fresh, and it usually does enough. Like, even if it's just in the presentation of you have to protect these houses, or you have to destroy this train.
Taper, I've already stopped the train.
Dingo?
It's you.
I've just arrived on Mars. You know they know where the Lev team and the Vector Cannon are.
I know. I'm coming near it too.
I'll catch you soon.
Noman will find you.
It's alright. Now he's crazy about activating Almon.
When I was in Noman's unit, one of the team was a spy from the Space Force.
Huh?
For some months, no one in the unit suspected him. Not even me.
And then?
But only Noman suspected. I don't know why.
What happened to this guy?
No idea. Next day I saw his left hand in the garbage.
Did it come off when they shook hands?
Stop acting tough.
You are joking, aren't you? It's not funny, though.
No. Since nothing happened to you while working alongside Noman, I can't believe that you're a real spy from the Space Force.
So?
Tell me the truth. What are you?
You don't trust me, do you?
Are you surprised?
I don't like Ken.
You something. You concealed yourself after the final mission.
I'm just gonna say this.
What are you doing after that?
I don't think she's that great of a lead heroine. She doesn't get that much done. She mostly just, as in this cutscene, just lies to Dingo and uses him. And she's got a very annoying voice.
You think I can trust such a man? You're just another. Even so.
I feel like it's another point where I'm kind of with Dingo in that I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever.
When you were in Bahram, you were not only an ethno.
And here they have them saying all of this, sort of maybe having a, like, I don't know, a flashback section or something. A lot of the exposition does just evolve to, as you know, so and so and so and so. I think that I don't know. It's a very anime-esque way of telling you the story, but
I'll hang up.
it fits in with the whole anime movie aesthetic this game's going for.
Did you make it?
I already stopped the train. And you?
I'm Ellie Caden, a platoon sub-leader of the Eight Heads. I thank you for your support.
Yeah. Any casualties?
Nothing serious, but everyone is exhausted. We need your help.
Don't let them move. Space Force, they're all the same. Hey, Taper!
You came much closer than I expected, didn't you? Orbital frames are fast indeed.
Huh?
Something's approaching. Is that you?
No, I'm still...
What the hell?
Take position. Pull back. Pull back.
Taper, what's going on?
Such speed.
Oh, God!
No, not Taper. Not our best buddy. I'm trying to remember what section's even up next, but I don't know. The memory of the game is pretty fresh, but it's the midpoint where I start losing it a little bit. No, I can't go that way. Figured there might be an extra mission. I'll probably get to the end of this little segment, see where we get to, and call it off in a minute and 45 seconds, roughly.
No sign of the enemy.
Because I'm pretty sure... I think I'm due for like a little Anubis boss fight. I think that's what's going on. We'll have to see. Oh, these guys. I know the Nephthys boss fight, that was it. Go on then. We'll get to the next like break in the story after this fight. We'll give Nephthys a bit of a whooping, and then we'll call it quits, I think. Oh fuck! Oh, get off!
This time I have no rod, no plate, and no field. What should I do, Ada?
Let's try any physical attack we can think of.
What's available?
Maybe we can use surrounding enemies.
Grab and use them. Roger.
Get off! Oh, I can't get close enough to actually grab without. Oh god. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go well. Okay. Oh god. Okay, that worked. She's got her field back up. Yeah, didn't do too much. Ah, you bitch. I think she's gonna beat me, frankly.
Smashing into surrounding enemies or grabbing the enemy for guards are effective.
Oh god. Oh yeah, I'm getting destroyed. Oh god. I think I'm just tired. I'll give it one more try.
You can get out of a grabbing attack at the very moment of getting grabbed.
Get off me. Oh my god. Okay, now I get the grip of it. Get off! Ah, tedious. Okay, now I can't. Ah. Ah, I don't like these guys. Let's go find another Clod.
Smashing into surrounding enemies or grabbing the enemy for guard are effective here.
I need health. Fuck off, Clod. Fuck off. Get off. Where is she? Where is she? Fuck off. Get off. I don't like Clods. I really don't. The kind of enemy that just sucks you in before you can really do anything. They just auto grab you the moment you get close enough. Where's Nephthys gone? No, no. Fuck's sake. Yeah, alright. Go on. Third time's the charm, and then we'll leave it at that.
You can get out of a grabbing attack at the very moment of getting grabbed.
No, you can't. Ah, I need to remember to block. Fuck off! There we go. Get off, get off, get off! Get off! Ah, tedious shit. And then she never shows up when I've actually grabbed one.
Damage level exceeding 50%.
Okay, god damn it. I'm regretting picking hard for this fight now. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. They just kind of... No! And the lock-on's getting mixed up between who I want to target. And I'm not able to get any actual damage done to her. Fuck off. Where is she? The only bothersome thing is it keeps my lock on the Clod when I just want to target Nephthys after breaking her guard.
Smashing into surrounding enemies or grabbing the enemy for guard are effective here.
Oh, almost got her. She's gonna kill me. Come on. There we go. Alright then. Oh god, that was giving me a proper hard time. I think that's the bit Bryn's stuck on. Yeah, I can fucking see why now. Oh well. Yeah, cool. Now we get another sub-weapon. We got the Vector Cannon finally. Yeah. I don't think it's over yet. And I did say I'd wait till the next like little bit of quiet time. I think I've got one more little fight to get through. I honestly thought this was way later in the game.
Viola was one of my teammates.
It's a tough fight, but it, you know, it's another evolution of the gimmick of throw stuff at Nephthys, break her guard, then attack her.
But she was still an excellent runner.
A comrade? Hey, what did
Oh
you say?
no, the jig's up.
Taper.
Were you on Barham's side?
Not now, I'm not.
Not now. What? That means you used to be with Barham, but now you're fighting for the Space Force?
So what?
You're lying. You're still with Barham.
Have you forgotten I saved you on Deimos?
You were
See, Taper has almost no reason to like immediately think he's definitely a bad guy, but
How can I trust you?
Well, now you come.
So it was Nephthys.
Is that also your pal?
Huh?
I can't understand anything anymore.
Taper, calm down.
and now another vague callback, just in the way Nephthys looks at the moment. Late in the game, in the first game, Viola, the original, gets this cool zombie form where she's just completely disassembled and made up of all these broken up parts. And it looks really cool. We get a little reference by just having Nephthys get totally fucked up as well. Yeah, it's neat. Remember Zoe 1? I do. No one else does. Okay, yeah, I remember this section.
What the hell are you doing? Viola?
Dingo, the controls won't work.
What?
The AI has taken possession. What should I do now? Dingo!
Shut up. Just shut up.
Now we get. I'll do this little section because I think then we'll get a decent moment to end it. And I think I'm roughly halfway.
While grabbing the target's body, I can perform the delete function.
I see. I'll try grabbing it.
Dingo, what should I...
Shut up!
Yeah, shut up, Ken.
On the monitor.
I'll grab the body and leave deleting the AI to you.
Roger.
Viola, this is the final one.
No, it's not. We're not. We're just about halfway through the game, Dingo. Don't get ahead of yourself.
After crossing swords, please try to repel the target. Immediately afterwards, the target will be momentarily unguarded.
Okay, I get it.
Grab the print. AI delete.
And then we just got to do this a few times. I think I can. I want to say I can. Oh shit! I got a time. I'm really not doing this right. Oh my god! I didn't realize my guard uses sub energy. Come on. This is all based around having to literally deflect her attacks, and that's kind of difficult. Because everything's so quick, it's like, hey, have this really precise timing and don't hit her. There we go. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do this, because I'm probably going to end up killing her before I actually have to. Before I can even get close to halfway, but... Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I probably shouldn't just run away. Oh, right. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, so I have to attack once, then do it again.
After crossing swords.
You're gonna do that? I don't know. Damn it. I'm just doing too much damage. Let's just do the wisp attack. I'll just try and outrun them. Oh, come on. Come on. Damn it. Come on. Just... I remember this section being very frustrating. Come on! Because I'm just gonna fucking damage her. This is the part where I start getting really butthurt and angry on stream. Oh, stop it! No, hey! Alright, fuck it, I'm just gonna kill you. Third time's the charm, and if not, then I'll just come back to it another time. Can I use Geyser on her? Come on! It's so inconsistent when it actually knocks her back. Because she'll do one attack. Come on. Come on! Fuck this segment. Oh, take your fucking time, why don't you? Do I have to cross swords with her a certain number of times? It's not very well explained. So, is there a... Oh, that's useful. Delete the AI. Grab her. Come on. Oh my god. Oh, I love this game so much. It's one of my favorite games. Come on. What the... I'm crossing swords with her and I'm pressing square again to knock her back. I feel like it'd be a sensible point to let me use decoy or something. Maybe I'll try that. Oh god.
After crossing swords, please try.
How do I swap my sub weapons? Oh, not vector cannon. Okay, I'm gonna waste this turn just doing this. Okay. You know what? This isn't gonna happen, I don't think. I'm too tired. I should know when to quit. Go on, I'm just gonna kill her. Yeah. Oh, God. Anyway, to the one person remaining, sorry to put you through that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it for now. That was a mild success, it was alright. like 5-6 people watching at once. It was okay. Yeah, I dragged that out near the end because I just wanted to beat her, but you know, I should know when to stop. Anyway, I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and maybe we'll pick this up in a few days or maybe next week. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching. How do I stop this?